Sean Reed checked his gear one last time in the dim light of their cramped apartment. Headlamps, cameras, extra batteries, climbing ropes, all carefully packed. The night outside was still, but Sean's mind buzzed with anticipation. Tonight wasn't just any urban exploration trip. It was the one they had been planning for months. Marla, his girlfriend and partner in adventure, was already waiting in the living room, reviewing their route on a cracked map of Silverpine Mine, a forgotten shaft deep in the mountains that locals whispered about in hushed tones. The mine had been closed for decades, abandoned after a tragic accident in the 1940s that left several miners dead. Since then, the entrance had been sealed, or so people thought. But Sean and Marla had found evidence otherwise. Online forums, old news clippings, and rumors pointed to hidden tunnels and secret chambers untouched by time. For urban explorers like them, Silverpine was the ultimate prize. "It's perfect," Marla said, eyes bright with excitement. "Just think about it. The footage we could get. This could be the biggest story yet for the channel." Sean smiled. Their YouTube channel had steadily grown over the past 2 years, attracting thousands of subscribers fascinated by forgotten places and urban legends. But Silverpine Mine was different. It had history, mystery, and a chill that sent shivers down their spines even through video. Outside, the moon hung low, casting ghostly shadows on the cracked pavement as they loaded into their old Jeep. The drive to the mountain trailhead was silent but electric, the kind of quiet where every rustle in the trees felt like a secret waiting to be uncovered. The last known entrance to Silverpine was said to be hidden beneath a thick overgrowth of pine and thorn bushes. They arrived just past midnight, gear ready, hearts pounding. Sean led the way, brushing aside branches to reveal a jagged hole in the earth, the mine's mouth. It was dark, cold, and smelled of damp stone and forgotten years. They switched on their headlamps, the beams cutting through the blackness like twin lances. "Let's make this quick but thorough," Sean whispered. "We stick to the plan. Keep comms open and stay sharp." Marla nodded, gripping her camera tightly. "Ready when you are." Step by cautious step, they entered the mine. The air grew cooler, the silence heavier. Dripping water echoed faintly against the rock walls. Old wooden beams, cracked and rotting, framed the passage, groaning under their own weight. They paused at the first fork in the tunnel, consulting the map. Left was the old elevator shaft, sealed years ago. Right led deeper into the labyrinthine maze rumored to house the miners' lost treasures. As they advanced, the beam of Sean's headlamp caught something carved into the wall. Faint initials, worn by time but still visible. SR. Sean touched the mark briefly, a chill running down his spine. A strange coincidence? Or a sign? Marla caught a flicker of movement out of the corner of her eye, but when she turned, nothing was there. "Did you see that?" she whispered. Sean shook his head, trying to stay focused. "Probably a trick of the light." The deeper they went, the more oppressive the mine felt. Sound seemed to bounce unnaturally. The camera's microphone picked up static interference and faint whispers, but neither dared mention it aloud. This was the kind of place that fed on fear, yet they pressed on, driven by the promise of discovery and the adrenaline rush that came with the unknown. The story of Silverpine Mine was theirs to tell. What secrets did the dark tunnels hold? Would they find proof of the legends? Or would the mine keep its mysteries locked away forever? As Sean adjusted his camera, capturing the eerie silence around them, neither of them could guess that this night would change everything. Sean and Marla moved cautiously deeper into the mine, their footsteps echoing softly against the cold stone walls. The air grew heavier with each step, thick with the scent of damp earth and rusting metal. Despite the unease creeping into their bones, the thrill of the unknown pushed them onward. Marla adjusted her camera, switching between wide-angle shots and close-ups of the mine's decaying infrastructure. "Look at this," she whispered, pointing to a rusted cart half buried in rubble, its wheels frozen in time. "It's like the miners just vanished." Sean nodded, shining his headlamp on the twisted rails snaking through the shadows. "Every detail we capture adds to the story. This place has been dead for decades, but it's still alive in a way." They reached a narrow passageway that sloped downward sharply. Sean double-checked their equipment, ropes, flashlights, and the camcorder that recorded everything for their channel. "This is where the real exploration begins," he said. As they descended, the temperature dropped noticeably. The silence was almost complete, broken only by the distant drip of water. Marla's breath came out in soft puffs, visible in the chilly air. The beam of her headlamp caught glimpses of old graffiti etched into the walls. Initials, dates from the 40s, and strange symbols that made her shiver. Suddenly, a faint rumble echoed through the tunnels. Sean froze, listening intently. "Did you hear that?" Marla nodded slowly. "It sounded like footsteps. But there's no way anyone else is down here." They pressed on, each noise amplified by the stillness. A sudden draft swept through the passage, carrying with it the faint scent of something metallic and ancient. Sean's heart raced. At one point, Marla's camera flickered with static, then briefly showed a shadow darting behind a pile of rocks. "What was that?" she whispered, voice tight. Sean peered into the gloom but saw nothing. "Probably just a trick of the light," he said, though unease crept into his voice. Minutes passed like hours as they navigated the maze of tunnels. Then they stumbled upon a collapsed wall, blocking a side passage, the stones piled haphazardly. Sean ran his fingers over the rubble and noticed fresh scratches on a nearby beam, as if something had recently tried to break through. Marla's camera zoomed in on the marks, her hands trembling slightly. "This doesn't look like old damage." "Maybe we're not alone down here," Sean murmured, a cold sweat forming on his brow. They debated turning back, but the promise of discovery outweighed their fear. With careful movements, Sean began clearing a narrow gap in the rubble, just enough for them to squeeze through. The passage beyond was tight and dark, forcing them to crawl on hands and knees. The air was stale, thick with dust and the weight of silence. Marla's camera light illuminated faded words scrawled on the wall. "Help us." A chill ran down both their spines. Sean shined his light further ahead and spotted something gleaming in the dirt. A small, battered camcorder, half buried in grime. He picked it up carefully, wiping away layers of dust. Marla leaned closer, whispering, "Could this belong to someone else who came here?" Sean glanced at the screen. It was cracked, but the tape inside seemed intact. "We need to get this out." They made their way back through the tunnels, the weight of the camcorder heavier than its size suggested. Neither spoke. Their minds raced with questions. Who had left the device here? Was it a clue or a warning? Back near the mine's mouth, they paused to catch their breath. The night air was crisp, a stark contrast to the oppressive darkness inside. Marla glanced at her watch. Hours had passed since they'd entered. Sean broke the silence. "This footage, it could change everything, but we need to be careful." Marla nodded. "Whatever's down there, it's not just history. It's something else." Unbeknownst to them, far beyond the mountain trails and city lights, their disappearance was already setting off ripples, whispers that would haunt Silverpine Mine for years to come. Back in their apartment, Sean and Marla carefully examined the battered camcorder they had found deep inside Silverpine Mine. The device was scratched and coated in dirt, but when Sean pressed play, a faint static crackle filled the room before a shaky black and white image appeared on the small screen. The footage was grainy and dark, showing twisted tunnels and collapsed walls. Occasionally, the camcorder's light flickered, revealing glimpses of shadowy figures moving just beyond the beam. There were muffled sounds, too, whispers, faint cries, and the constant drip of water echoing in the confined space. Marla leaned closer, her eyes wide. This isn't from us. Someone else was down there, and they recorded this before disappearing." Sean nodded slowly. "The scratches on the walls, the help us message, maybe they were trapped too." As they watched, the screen flickered, and a chilling sound pierced the silence. A desperate cry for help. It was faint but unmistakable, the kind of sound that grabs you by the heart and won't let go. "We need to tell someone," Marla said, voice trembling. "This is serious." Sean hesitated. "If this is recent, no one else has found them yet. The mine's dangerous. What if... What if what?" Marla interrupted. "We can't just ignore it." Reluctantly, Sean agreed they would contact the local authorities the next day. But for now, the footage became an obsession. They pored over every second, searching for clues, markings on the walls, hidden passages, anything that might explain what had happened. Days passed, and as they pieced together the footage with their own recordings, a chilling picture emerged. It seemed the mine was a labyrinth, more extensive than anyone had realized, with hidden tunnels collapsing and trapping anyone who ventured too deep. More disturbing were the strange phenomena captured on camera. Unexplained noises, shadows moving independently, and an overwhelming sense of being watched. Friends and subscribers to their YouTube channel noticed the change in Sean and Marla's videos. Their tone became darker, more cautious. The usual excitement was replaced by unease. Then came the messages from fans. Some urged them to stop exploring Silverpine, warning of curses and tragedies. Others shared stories of missing hikers and mysterious disappearances around the mine over the decades. Despite growing fear, Sean and Marla planned one last trip to Silverpine, hoping to find the source of the cries and the secrets hidden within. But that night, they never returned. The morning after Sean and Marla's planned return to Silverpine Mine, their phones went unanswered. Concern quickly rippled through their close friends and family. It wasn't like them to disappear without a word, especially after the intense footage they'd been gathering. Sean's sister Emily was the first to raise the alarm. She called the local sheriff's office, reporting that the couple had failed to check in as promised. They were supposed to be back by midnight, she told the dispatcher, her voice shaking. Something's wrong. The sheriff's department launched an immediate search, organizing teams to comb the mountain trails and the mine entrance. Search dogs tracked scents near the shaft, but the dense forest and rugged terrain slowed progress. Days turned into a week with no sign of Sean or Marla. Inside the mine, rescuers found nothing but silence. The entrance was undisturbed, no footprints beyond the couple's last known path. Their headlamps and backpacks had vanished along with them. News of the disappearance spread quickly through the nearby town. The media latched onto the story of the urban explorers chasing legends, and locals whispered about the curse that seemed to hang over Silverpine Mine. Relatives organized vigils holding on to hope despite the growing dread. Emily posted on social media pleading for any information. If anyone saw Sean or Marla, please come forward. We just want them home. Weeks later, a volunteer searcher discovered something unusual near the mine's mouth. A small pile of rocks arranged in a pattern, unlike anything natural. Nearby, a piece of torn fabric, possibly from Marla's jacket. The sheriff's office released a statement urging caution. The mine is dangerous and unstable. We advise the public not to enter. Our search teams are working tirelessly to locate the missing individuals. Despite the official warnings, thrill seekers and urban explorers flocked to Silverpine, hoping to uncover what had happened. Some returned shaken, speaking of eerie sounds and glimpses of shadowy figures. For Sean and Marla's families, each day without news was a torment. The silence was deafening, and beneath the earth, the mine held its secrets tightly, waiting. Months passed since Sean and Marla vanished, but Silverpine Mine didn't fade from the town's collective memory. Instead, it grew darker, wrapped in whispers and rumors that sent chills through even the bravest. Locals began sharing stories they'd heard over the years. Tales of miners who never returned, strange lights flickering in the tunnels at night, and voices carried by the wind. Some claimed the mine was cursed, haunted by restless spirits trapped in its depths. Old-timers recalled a tragedy from the 1940s when a collapse sealed off part of the mine, killing several workers. According to legend, their souls lingered, unable to find peace. Over time, Strange phenomena were reported, tools moving on their own, eerie singing echoing through the trees, and shadows slipping just beyond sight. The disappearance of Sean and Marla only fueled the mystery. Urban explorers who dared approach the entrance spoke of sudden cold drafts, unexplained noises, and a feeling of being watched. A few even claimed to have seen flickering lights and heard faint cries, just like those caught on Sean's camcorder. Online forums buzzed with speculation. Some blamed supernatural forces. Others whispered about hidden tunnels that led to forgotten chambers where secrets were buried deep. A few conspiracy theorists suggested illegal mining operations or something more sinister. Despite warnings, curiosity drew more people to Silverpine. Amateur ghost hunters set up equipment around the site, hoping to capture evidence of the paranormal. Their recordings picked up strange static, unexplained knocks, and fleeting shadows. Marla's family held on to hope, but even they admitted fear. Her younger brother, Jake, said quietly, "I don't know if they're alive or lost down there forever, but I believe if there's any chance, we have to keep looking." Meanwhile, the authorities maintained their stance. The mine was too dangerous, and no further searches would be conducted without new evidence. The silence underground was broken only by the occasional drip of water and the restless wind threading through collapsed tunnels. But something had changed. The mine was no longer just abandoned. It was alive with secrets waiting to be uncovered. In 2020, nearly a decade after Sean and Marla disappeared, the legend of Silverpine Mine still captivated thrill seekers and urban explorers. Among them was Alex Turner, a popular YouTuber known for diving into forgotten places and uncovering hidden stories. His channel boasted hundreds of thousands of subscribers eager for spine-chilling adventures and mysterious discoveries. Alex had followed the tale of Sean and Marla closely, watching their old videos and reading through forums filled with theories. To him, Silverpine was the ultimate challenge, a place where history, mystery, and danger converged. "This is it," Alex said one evening as he packed his gear. High-definition cameras, audio recorders, thermal sensors, and a drone. "If I can capture something real here, it'll be the biggest story on my channel." His friends warned him against it. "Man, that place is cursed. People don't just vanish there for no reason," one said. But Alex shrugged it off. "Fear sells, but facts tell the truth." After careful planning and securing permission from local authorities to conduct a controlled exploration, Alex set off for Silverpine. The forest around the mine entrance had grown thicker over the years, branches clawing at his jacket as he approached the familiar jagged opening. Equipped with the latest tech, Alex entered the mine with steady determination. The atmosphere was heavy, just as described in Sean and Marla's footage. His footsteps echoed, and the beam from his headlamp pierced the darkness, revealing walls etched with decades-old graffiti and faint marks left by the previous explorers. Hours into his descent, Alex noticed something unusual. A low, muffled sound, almost like a distant cry, drifting through the tunnels. He paused, heart pounding, scanning the darkness. "Hello," he called softly, but only the silence answered. He activated his audio recorder, catching the faint echoes again, layered with an eerie static. Checking the live feed, he saw the image flicker, as if the mine itself was interfering. Determined to trace the source, Alex ventured deeper, following the sound through narrow passages and collapsed shafts. The temperature dropped, and his breath became visible in the cold air. At one point, his drone slipped through a small gap in the ceiling, hovering over a hidden chamber previously unseen on any map. The live footage showed twisted metal, broken tools, and walls scratched with markings. Among them, a familiar set of initials, SR. Alex's pulse quickened. Could this be Sean Reed's sign? Was he close to uncovering the truth? But as he prepared to enter the chamber, the faint cries grew louder, more desperate. A chill ran down his spine. The mine seemed to hold its breath, watching, waiting. Alex steadied himself. "Whatever's down here, I'm coming." Alex's footsteps echoed louder as he pushed deeper into the hidden chamber the drone had revealed. The narrow tunnel ended abruptly at a caved-in wall of rubble and stone, aged but seemingly disturbed recently. Faint, desperate cries echoed through the air, barely audible but impossible to ignore. He pulled out his headlamp and shone it carefully over the debris. Amid the dust and broken rocks, a series of scratches and markings caught his eye. Running his fingers over the cold stone, Alex's heart pounded when he spotted familiar initials carved into the wall. SR. The same initials Sean Reed had left years before. Taking out his phone, Alex recorded the scene, narrating softly, "Found signs of recent activity here. These scratches could mean someone was trying to escape." The cries intensified for a moment, then faded into uneasy silence. Alex crouched, listening intently. He tried calling out, "Sean, Marla, if anyone's here, we're coming." Only the echo answered. Minutes passed. The oppressive weight of the darkness pressed on his senses. He noticed something else, a faint glint buried under the rubble. Carefully, Alex cleared away dirt and debris to reveal a broken camcorder. Its lens cracked, but still recognizable. His hands trembled as he turned it on. Static filled the screen before a faint image appeared, blurry, but unmistakably a man's hand reaching toward the camera. The recording was stuck in a loop of flickering shadows and muffled sounds, punctuated by panicked breathing. Alex swallowed hard. This could be the last recording from Sean or Marla, he whispered. His mind raced with questions. How deep did the tunnels go? Were they still trapped somewhere beyond this wall? Or worse, was this the final proof of their fate? Suddenly the mine groaned, a low rumble like shifting earth. Dust fell from the ceiling. Alex's flashlight flickered. He stood quickly. Time to get out before this whole place collapses. But as he turned to leave, a distant scream echoed behind him. Raw, desperate, chilling. He froze, the sound reverberating in his chest. Alex's breath came fast. "I'm not alone down here," he thought. Heart pounding, he started retracing his steps toward the mine's entrance, all senses alert. Outside, the night was calm, stars twinkling indifferent above. But underground, the mine whispered its dark secrets, and some cries never fade. The night air outside Silverpine Mine was crisp and still, but inside the dark tunnels, something had shifted. After hearing that desperate scream, Alex didn't hesitate. Every step back toward the entrance was hurried, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The mine seemed alive, groaning, creaking, as if displeased with his intrusion. When he finally burst into the open air, Alex gasped, taking deep breaths to steady himself. His equipment had recorded everything: the cries, the eerie shadows, and the unsettling signs of recent disturbance. Back in his rented cabin nearby, Alex reviewed the footage with a mix of adrenaline and dread. The screams were unmistakable. Cries for help trapped in a place forgotten by time. He knew this wasn't just another abandoned site. Something was desperately wrong. With the video and audio evidence in hand, Alex reached out to local authorities. At first, they were skeptical. Silverpine had long been considered too dangerous and unstable for safe exploration, but the authenticity of the footage, coupled with the initials SR carved into the walls, forced them to act. A coordinated excavation was quickly organized. Teams of experienced spelunkers, miners, and rescue personnel arrived with heavy equipment, shoring up tunnels and clearing rubble. The media descended, broadcasting live updates as the story reignited public interest. As the digging progressed, workers uncovered a hidden network of tunnels, far more extensive than the official maps had indicated. Some passages were freshly disturbed, evidence someone or something had moved through them recently. Among the debris, rescuers found more scratched initials, SR, along with scrawled messages, trapped, need help, and chilling symbols that seemed like warnings. But there were no bodies, no signs of Sean or Marla or any other lost souls, only remnants of their presence, a broken camcorder, faint footprints, and echoes in the darkness. The authorities sealed off the most unstable sections, continuing careful exploration while promising transparency and updates. Meanwhile, Alex's footage went viral, sparking a wave of fascination and fear. Some experts suggested the mine's labyrinthine tunnels might have collapsed, trapping anyone inside beyond rescue. Others whispered of strange phenomena, magnetic anomalies, disorienting sounds, and unexplained electrical interference. For the families, the excavation brought a bittersweet mix of hope and despair. Marla Reed, Sean's sister, expressed cautious optimism. "We're grateful someone is finally looking for answers, but every day without them is a day of heartbreak." Yet despite the massive effort, the mine kept its secrets close. The cries had stopped, replaced by an eerie silence more unsettling than before. At night, residents near Silverpine reported strange lights flickering across the hills and a low hum that vibrated through the air. The mine, it seemed, was far from done, and somewhere deep beneath the earth, hidden in darkness, a faint tapping echoed, like a message waiting to be heard. The days following the excavation were a whirlwind of activity and speculation. Rescue teams had cleared away tons of debris, revealing a vast, hidden tunnel system beneath Silverpine Mine that no official records had ever mentioned. Yet despite their efforts, no trace of Sean or Marla was found. Alex remained on site, documenting everything with his cameras. His footage captured the eerie emptiness of the tunnels, the worn walls etched with messages and initials, SR, appearing repeatedly as if marking a trail. One morning, a worker called out, holding a piece of jagged metal. It was part of a camcorder, heavily damaged, but unmistakably familiar. Alex recognized it immediately. the same model Sean and Marla had used on their explorations. Nearby, the walls bore fresh scratch marks, frantic, desperate attempts to communicate. Among the marks was a crude map, roughly drawn, showing a network of passages leading further underground, past areas previously thought collapsed. The discovery reignited hope. Could Sean and Marla have survived, trapped somewhere beyond the blocked tunnels? Or was this simply evidence of their final moments? Theories abounded. Some believed the couple had fallen victim to natural dangers, cave-ins, toxic gases, or exhaustion. Others speculated something more sinister lurked, a hidden presence or unexplained force within the mine. Late at night, Alex reviewed hours of footage from his cameras placed around the tunnels. He noticed subtle anomalies, shadows that didn't align with light sources, strange noises caught on audio, and brief static bursts that interrupted video feeds. Then, unexpectedly, a new sound emerged on the recordings. A soft tapping, rhythmic and deliberate, echoing faintly from deep within the labyrinth. It was unlike anything captured before, almost like a signal. Alex shared the audio with the rescue team. "It's a message," he said quietly. "Someone's trying to communicate." Plans were made to follow the tapping deeper into the mine. Specialized equipment was brought in to detect movement, sounds, and changes in air quality. The atmosphere grew tense with anticipation. However, as they advanced, equipment began malfunctioning. Radios lost signal, lights flickered, and eerie sensations crept over the team. Some reported feeling watched, uneasy. Despite these warnings, the search continued, driven by determination and the faint hope that Sean and Marla were still alive. Yet with every step deeper, the mine's silence grew heavier and its secrets more elusive. What lay beyond the blocked tunnels? Was the tapping a call for rescue or a warning to turn back? As the sun set over Silverpine, the mystery remained, a dark puzzle buried beneath layers of stone and silence. The tapping continued, soft but persistent, a heartbeat from the depths of Silverpine Mine. Rescue teams, led by experts and bolstered by Alex's documentation, ventured cautiously toward the source. Every footstep seemed to stir the very air, thick with dust and unspoken secrets. Alex's camera captured every moment, the beam of his headlamp cutting through the suffocating darkness. The walls closed in around them, rough and damp, etched with the stories of those who had passed before. At a narrow bend, the team discovered a hidden doorway cleverly concealed behind a crumbled wall of stone and earth. It was barely noticeable, but the rhythmic tapping echoed clearly beyond it. With careful hands, they cleared the debris, revealing a passage leading into a small, cramped chamber. The air inside was stale, tinged with the metallic scent of rust and something faintly sweet, an unplaceable odor that lingered in the cold air. Inside the chamber, beneath the faint glow of their lights, lay remnants of a life trapped in time. A makeshift bed of tattered blankets lay folded in a corner, scattered belongings, a cracked flashlight, a worn backpack, and a faded photograph of Sean and Marla smiling on one of their earlier explorations. Most chilling of all, a pile of scratched notes, hastily etched onto shards of wood and stone, told a haunting story. Trapped by a sudden collapse, Sean and Marla had survived longer than anyone imagined, sending desperate messages through tapping on the walls to call for help. Their last note read simply, "We're here. Don't forget us." The realization settled over the team like a heavy fog. They had found proof of survival, courage, and heartbreak beneath the earth. Yet, no bodies were found. It seemed Sean and Marla had vanished into the labyrinth, their fate forever a mystery. Had they escaped deeper into the mine, lost beyond hope? Or had something else claimed them in the shadows? As the excavation wound down, Alex recorded a final message. Silverpine Mine holds its secrets close, but through this search, we remember Sean and Marla, explorers who dared to chase the unknown. Their story is one of bravery and mystery, a reminder that some places hold more than just history. They hold the echoes of lives lived and lost. Back on the surface, the wind whispered through the pines, carrying the faintest tapping sound, as if the mine itself still reached out. The mystery of Silverpine remained unsolved, a dark echo in the heart of the earth, waiting for those willing to listen.